Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give the Bhutanese perspective as our moderator has directed or guided us to keep focus on what we are doing rather than discussing about the problems and the challenges, because I think the issues that are in front of us are similar and they do not need to be repeated. So I will go straight away to where we are, what we are doing in terms of ensuring food, water, and energy security. Now, let me say that Bhutan is quite fortunate that we have a rather small population, and we have been able to actually provide clean drinking water to nearly all households, almost more than 95% coverage. And we have also been able to provide grid electricity to over 80% of our population already. And in terms of food security, while we have enough food, we are still not food self-sufficient, but we are food secure. So I would like to see where we have focused our energy. Fortunately, I would like to say that I don't have to answer that question because we don't have any nuclear energy plants, nor do we have any fossil fuel deposits. So we don't need to worry about those questions that were there. And Bhutan, we have all along focused on developing our hydropower resources. We are blessed with abundant number of rivers with the combined potential to generate about 30,000 megawatts of electricity. And as of now, we have about 2,000 megawatts, and we are already exporting this energy to India. Now we have in the pipeline about 6 more hydropower plants, which could, by another 5 to 6 years, we hope to have about 10,000 megawatts of hydroelectricity generated. Now, we are also aware of the risk of putting all our eggs in one basket. So we have now developed a comprehensive renewable energy resources policy that would provide us with the policy and the plans to have a mix of energy supply sources, including biogas, solar, wind, and even wood energy. So we are looking at that, and I'm glad to inform you that this morning we could sign a framework agreement with the government of Norway and Asian Development Bank to pursue this process. So we are already well on our way to provide not just sustainable, but sustainable clean energy to all our communities. Now, we are also aware that the source of our rivers are glacial lakes, and the glaciers are fast retreating. And the threat that this phenomenon causes is that we will have increasing incidences of GLOF, glacial lake outburst floods, which would potentially destroy these hydropower plants downstream and actually, sort of threaten the possibility of generating electricity and the returns on the investment that we are making in a big way. So that is why we need to diversify the energy source. So we are already putting the process in place. The biggest threat to Bhutan at this moment with regard to energy is the transport sector. There's an increasing number of cars, which is increasing day by day, and people, and in a young democracy, everybody wants to exercise their rights, and they want to buy cars. And when you buy more cars, you have to import more fossil fuel. And unless we transform our energy sector, the transport sector, look into alternative forms of energy for running the transport sector, we are going to be faced with tremendous challenges. Now, as far as the water security is concerned, Bhutan has always committed to protecting the catchment areas of our rivers. As of now, we have more than 80% of our territory under forest cover, and we intend to keep it that way. Our constitution mandates us to maintain at least 60% of our area under forest cover at all times. Now, to honor this commitment, to honor this mandate, we have also put in place a mechanism whereby 50% of our territory is already designated by law as parks and protected areas. And we are working on a funding mechanism that would provide permanent financing for these conservation areas, these protected areas. And with partners like WWF and others, we hope that we would be able to work on the payment for environmental services and plowback mechanisms from hydroelectricity revenues and so on to finance the protection of this forest. We are also faced with unseasonal rainfall patterns. Now the farmers cannot any longer depend on the rainfall patterns, the traditional rainfall, to follow their agricultural calendar. When they need to sow or plant, the rains don't come in time. And when they harvest their field and don't expect rainfall, it occurs. So we need to have coping mechanisms, which means investment into water saving, water harvesting measures. Now we have already started a rainwater harvesting scheme to allow us to be able to plant our crops in time, and also invest in storage systems so that we would be able to cope with the unseasonal rainfall after harvest and so on. So these measures are already in place, and we have also put a substantial area of our agricultural land with the potential for increasing productivity under a protected area status, so that a minimum proportion of our food is produced within the country. So these are the mechanisms that we have put in place. At the regional level, we try to take the initiative of forming a regional alliance with our neighboring countries of India, Bangladesh, and Nepal to look at how we can cooperate, work together on addressing some of the climate change impacts on water, on food, on biodiversity and energy. So the process is going on, and we are moving ahead, although it takes time. But I think these are things which are really necessary, because the rivers know no boundaries, the animals don't know any political boundaries. So the cooperation is the only way to go forward. And at the international level, we have of course made very bold commitments, like pledging to remain carbon neutral at all times. Our Prime Minister led a movement towards a new economic development paradigm under the aegis of the United Nations. And this debate is going on right now, and hopefully Bhutan would be able to provide some solutions to the crisis that we are facing. We know what is at stake. What is at stake is our future, the future of our future generations. So we need governments that can make bold decisions now rather than later. Thank you very much.